2020 will go down in history for sure. What has this year taught you in terms of time and living?
One of the good things about this year, I mean, there's so many difficult things we could describe, but one of the good things is it's a time that we've all shared. We've all had this kind of common experience. So this pandemic, this moment in time has given us that common experience that we've all got that reference point somehow.
Yeah.
And lots of good things have come out of that, even though it's felt really stressful. The necessity of managing it has pushed us all on. We've all learned new things. We've got relationships have grown with others. We've all had to share this together. It gives us a common reference point going forward, doesn't it?
What would you say to students who would be coming to join us this time of the year? How do you think they can indeed manage their time better, in your opinion?
Maybe I'm not the right person to talk about managing time better.
From my perspective, I think time management is something that you make of it. You have to understand who you are as a person, how long it takes you to potentially get whatever you have to do done. So it's about knowing who you are. Thinking about part-time working, students who are potentially carers, those who have deadlines, and so many other family commitments. It's quite hard to manage all of that, but you have to think about, who you are as a person, balance your time, and also not forgetting to look after yourself.
Yeah, I think, that makes sense to me, Augusta, the way you describe it there, because time and the way we manage our time, that goes throughout the whole of life, isn't it? That's not just university, that's for when you're working, when you're a parent, all the different roles you have throughout your life, and just making sure that your life becomes and you become what you want to become. I thought that really resonated with me when you said you need a moment's pause almost to decide what it is that you really want to do with this time. It's just that quiet moment's pause to stop and think.
Yeah.
And be really honest with yourself, isn't it? This is me at university. What is it that I want? What are all the things I want to get out of this? It's a bit like work, rest, play, and you have to, you kind of have to get them in balance. It's not just one thing. You've got to balance up all the things that you want to do, and make sure they don't work against each other.
That is so important.
It's a lifelong thing, isn't it? There's one thing the Wellbeing Service would say. They call it sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene, and it's just this idea of rest. People, so many people don't get enough sleep, and it's this idea of work, rest, play. Exactly.
I'm guilty of that.
You've got to get sleep, because when you get enough rest, you just feel better the next day. You feel more able to make the most of that time.
Just interact with people. I would say don't wait for people to come to meet you. You can go meet them as well.
University is probably the one time in life when you can walk up to a stranger that first few weeks of term and say, I'm Simon, I'm Augusta, where are you from? What's it like being from there? Because nobody knows each other at that time.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Augusta. Relationships are really important at university, because that's how we get through and we support one another.
Yeah.
But relationships you have to invest time in relationships. You have to get to know people and to be prepared to spend time with people, and that's time well spent, isn't it? Building those relationships. So, you can have fun together, but also, when you need a helping hand, or when somebody else needs you to help them, that can happen. When I think about time, and I'm not very good at this, particularly myself, but it's that idea of, start early, start as early as you can, isn't it? Because if you start your work early, or you start planning it early, then what you're doing is you've got extra time, you're managing your time, so you're managing your stress, you're managing your anxiety, and you're not getting into that, like I do. Oh, I've got the stressful thing next week, or I need to stay up, I need to work over the weekend. If we can all manage our time, that we start earlier, we avoid that anxiety,
So you made a point about when students do start off in university, they have to be comfortable having conversations with strangers they've just met. And for me, when I started my first year back in 2015, I had to come in late because of my visa. And at that time, I found that everyone had found their a friend. Everyone had found who they would walk to lectures with. And, for the first week, I was still trying to adapt, into the new environment, the new learning space, and understand what this whole university movement is. But what I would say is taking your time. I did not want to rush into anything, so I had to, be comfortable with myself, understand who I was first before putting myself out there. Because without understanding who I was, I would not have been able to know what spaces I fitted into and the sort of things that I would want to get involved with throughout my time at UE. So over the couple of weeks that passed, I found that I got to connect with different people from from my country, from Britain, and so many other places as well. So I know at that first point, even now that things will be virtual, it might be difficult for certain individuals to interact online, but it's okay, messaging someone who you've had in your group on Facebook saying, "Oh, hi, I know we do the same course. Would you mind if we're able to study together online, whatever it be?" So I think it's important for students to learn how they would engage with other students better during this time. It would be difficult to connect, but it is possible. It is not impossible at all.
And everybody's in that same situation.
Yeah, no one has it figured out.
No, so everybody wants to connect, and yeah, absolutely, nobody has it figured out. Nobody's got all the answers anywhere, and people are looking to make friends and have relationships with people. And I think all you have to do, I say this, it's part of human nature, isn't it? Everybody finds this difficult, but I think maybe it's about just being really honest. When we approach others, just being really honest. And I liked what you were suggesting, or Augusta, and thinking back to when I went to university, the idea of, in terms of time, you don't have to solve everything in the first week. You're looking forward to your year as presidents then.
It's an interesting time to be president, Simon. But it's something that I appreciate this moment in time, because I didn't want it to be something that would be similar to my previous year as vice president. I was hoping that, with my team, with the current structure of the organization, would be able to deliver something that is different. And irrespective of COVID and all the changes, I am indeed trying to remain optimistic, because that's the only way we're going to pull through this. There are things that can definitely happen, but it's properly planning one and working together. The first few weeks, I thought I was doing it on my own, but constant support from members of staff reminded me that I'm not in this, alone. We're all still trying to figure it out, and
I think that's really important. Nobody's ever on their own. So nobody's ever on their own, and I wouldn't want anybody to feel that. I don't believe that anybody's ever on their own. You have to reach out. I agree with you, Augusta. Optimism is, the opposite to optimism is worry, and worry is just the wrong use of imagination. Be optimistic. Use your imagination positively, and positive things will happen.
That's it. And on that note, we're done. Thank you so much. Same here. Bye, Simon.